certainly more than a month. And hopefully, just in a few moments, Nick from One Man Stampede will be joining. If I set everything up the right way, we'll see. Okay. Let's wait up for him and then we'll see. Oops. It says we got one person watching. Not sure if that's Nick back in like the queue or something, or if it's a totally different person. In any case, if you're watching, let me know if the audio is good, if you can. If not, we'll figure it out when Nick joins. So he should be joining any moment now. It's been a while since I did a live stream of any kind. It's been a while since we've uploaded stuff on the channel outside of like shorts and stuff, because we're in Dubrovnik and everybody's working seasonal jobs and a bunch of stuff, and we're extremely busy. So that kind of sucks. But now, as the summer is getting to a close, we'll be able to upload more again. So, yeah. I'm gonna pick up that momentum again in a month or so, probably. Hey, there we go. Oh. Hey, there we go. What's up? Can you hear me? I don't seem to be able to hear you. I just see. Oh, there we go.
Yes, no, maybe.
Yes. Is it working?
Okay, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely. Now I can hear you perfectly.
Yeah, my phone just like try saying what's the weather like tomorrow? It's like, why would I ask that now?
Well, but anyways, it's been a while since we did this. How are you doing? And everything, and all the normal human questions that come after not hanging out in a while. How's that
Uh, it's been okay. It's been okay. Like,
That's good.
can't complain. It's been interesting. A few ups, few downs, and
Sure.
yeah.
Pretty much the same. A lot of work and seasonal madness in a touristy town. So uploads have been scarce, and the channel has been a bit dormant, but it's all right. So just I was just saying to the two viewers, it seems, before you joined, that we will be sort of jump starting the channel stuff again in like a month or so. But
Yeah, isn't it tourism season there at your side now?
Yes, and it's been for since mid-April. It started, even March. It slowly started, so it's a huge season here, and now it's just filled to the brim with tourists and tourist stuff. So it's all chaotic, and it's a very small town. So been kind of energy depleting. But yeah, such is the fate.
I get that. When there's a lot of people in a small area, it gets nuts.
Right, and it's Dubrovnik is a very small town, and I'm fortunate slash unfortunate enough to live within the old city. So in the old town within the walls, it's super tiny, but it's essentially like a museum for tourists, and just people don't know that there's actual residents and families inside. So that's kind of fucky.
Oh, like the ignorance of some tourists when they visit a small town, like it's unbelievable, actually.
Yeah. Oh, we got Alan in the chat, another working boy. Who was that?
Yeah, shame. Ellen has to work tonight.
No, we're doing 2 out of 3 members can do the ass conference. He'll be joining on the next one.
Yeah, there's only 2 cheeks of this ass right now.
Oh man. Yeah, but yeah, it's always strange with like you mentioned the disrespect thing, because there's an ungodly amount of people entering the city every day, and most people are usually okay. But if you have 1 million people entering a place, even a small percentage of idiots is still a large number.
Oh yeah, no, it's
That's the problem. Most people are fine.
yeah. Like like you said, disrespect. I would say more just ignorance. It's just not aware. You know,
Right.
like there's certain regions of the world, like when they go visit a place, they think everything is the same as where they come from,
Yeah.
right? So they expect like same infrastructure, same cultural values to an extent, like the same idea when it comes to consumerism and convenience, and it's just not like that at all.
It's so much different. It's hard. I'm not aware of many certain differences that probably I wouldn't even think of in other places. But I think like if I'm gonna travel, if I'm gonna spend some time, I'd want to research at least a little bit. I'm gonna piss somebody off. That's just the nature of how that goes. But just educate a little bit more. That'd be always good. So, but again, that's a smaller percentage of like just stupid people.
It's a small percentage of stupid people, but I mean, who's most of the where do most of the tourists come from?
It's a pug. We have a pug. So sorry. I love pugs. Holy
Um,
shit.
just excuse this one. It's just needy.
We have to say hi to the pug. Look at the pug. What's its name? I can't.
Her name's Ava.
Reba, hello. Hello. Oh my god. I love pugs. I can't. That's Mariana, by the way. You've seen her on the images. Oh my god, look at the fat doggo.
She's a little chonker. Like
Oh, lovely. Oh, I love pugs. They're probably my favorite dog breed. I can't they and all the similar breeds. I'm more of a cat person, so I suck with dog breeds. I don't know all the names or anything. I mix it up. But all the kind those that look similar, I love those.
it's actually very difficult to keep track. Um, but yeah, pugs are never like my first choice of dog. This one was actually being fostered from place to place, and then uh, my mother brought her along when she came to visit the one weekend, and she got along with the other dog, so we decided to keep her because they were just trying to find a home for her. The original owners couldn't keep her anymore.
She looks to be in good hands. Oh, we got people. We got mandatory Alan's comment on oil checks being mandatory. So let's just ignore that. Fuck him. He could have been in the ass conference and he's not because work.
Yeah. Like, what? Who are we supposed to oil check, Alan? Like, Tori, who are we oil checking? And do we need to get it on camera?
Community.
That thing, yeah,
There's
there's community
nothing.
guidelines.
It's just an oil check. YouTube, please. Oh, we got Kaniel. Oh, we got Grip Academy. We got Matthew here. That's awesome. We got people. Nick, do you know who Gabe Itch is?
I have no idea.
Me neither, honestly. I gotta check that person out. Kaniel, if that's how I pronounce your name, sorry. You can expand in the chat if you wish, and then we'll certainly check that person out later on. Greetings, Pacific Brawling. Greetings to you too. Welcome to a random stream out of nowhere. The cats rule. Yeah, I'm more of a cat person, but I love animals in general. So I just grew up with cats. I'm guessing if you grow up with a certain animal, you're just gonna have a nostalgic thing, and it's hard to break off from that, I guess.
You know, you say that like we had a cat, but we had to unfortunately put it down. That was what, last year, I believe. And like growing up, I've had many pets, like a crazy amount of pets. Anything, different breeds of dogs, cats, snakes, birds, fish. We had a snapping turtle at a stage. We also looked after a seal at a stage. Yeah, so like I've been around a lot of animals. I can actually show you how to feed a baby seal with a tube and grinding up fish. So it's
I've only really had cats and like turtles in gardens. I kept a bunch of spiders, so that's a thing. But that's only a tarantula is really what I consider my pet. But I would just keep random spiders and they have no concept or no idea of anything. So it's like it's barely a pet. Nursing them.
It's just food. They just worry about food.
But yeah.
So yeah, with all the animals I've been around, it's been quite hectic. My grandfather was actually part owner of a zoo at a stage, and my grandparents were responsible for rehabilitating chimpanzees, and even owls.
Damn.
So there's actually a farm that I stay close by. I know the owner of the farm because his grandfather owned the farm before him, and his grandfather knew my grandparents, and he would actually go get owls from my grandfather to release there on his farm.
That's so cool.
And it would get like 30 at a time.
That's crazy.
Right.
That's a number.
So yeah.
It's crazy because that's like a bunch of different like exotic animals. Like I don't think I've seen a monkey up close ever. So like any outside of like people.
Oh man, this is South Africa. Like you go to Knysna or like between Knysna and Plet, like there's places where you can stay and there's like monkeys that pop up frequently. You, like here around the mountainsides here by us, like there's baboons. So
that's crazy to me. That's such a foreign thing. That's like stuff I see on TV, internet, and movies. Like just that being a normal occurrence to me is like crazy. We have very like Mediterranean is very it's just very docile, not like very in your face animals everywhere. So it's like just the chillest place in terms of wildlife. We only have like a few animals that can be considered a bit dangerous or cool in that way. Everything else is just chill. and like mundane. So that's cool. That's always crazy to me.
Yeah,
UK,
dude. Like,
yes.
yeah, dude.
So
Like here we get honey badgers as well. So like,
those guys, those guys have issues.
it's our favorite.
Like I'm almost thinking that the Wolverine from Marvel Comics should have just been a honey badger. It fits his personality even more than a Wolverine.
Oh, they're kind of similar. I think
Right.
I think they're related.
I
Like,
so like Wolverines are also a bit like defensive and everything, but I hear so much about honey badgers like aggressive and then like the fuck around and find out attitude that it just fits the character of Logan.
yeah, I know. Like they could get bit by a venomous snake and then they just pass out and then wake up later like nothing happened. It's
Exactly.
amazing.
Insane.
I do. Like, yeah. So there's so many animals you can encounter here, and like something like that's very rare, right? I've encountered a skunk 3 times in my life, right? Twice when I stayed on a farm a couple of years back, and then once in the house that I grew up in. And you don't think there's skunks in this area, like you don't
Right.
think it, and they actually are. And well, the one time, like, okay, we see this uh this animal now. We think it's a mongoose, right? But now, like, mongoose is like long, you know. Like we think it's a mongoose, and it's like, okay, it must be a baby mongoose. So now I go and try to catch this thing, right?
Oh
Um,
god. Oh god.
and then it's just like it's in the corner, right? And there's this pot. So now I'm like trying to get to this mongoose, and like then I just start spelling this awful spell. It's like, nah, this is a skunk. Fuck this, I'm out. And then my older brother is like, he's like, back then my older brother's like, he always spoke to me with this condescending tone. It's like, Nicholas, don't be an idiot. We don't get skunks here. Then he tries to catch it. This thing just released all over his face.
Oh god. Oh.
I'm just like, I told you it was a skunk. Do you believe me now?
Oh, we got Andy Max. Hi, Max. And Alan says, I've held a skunk. Jesus. Did it like piss and fart all over you? Like,
Yeah,
that doesn't sound fun.
like I'm glad you got that right, Alan, but like I'm not trying to catch a skunk again.
No, thank you.
No.
Screw that. Oh my god.
No, screw that. But
We got awesome people in the chat. That's great. And also ask any questions and hopefully like the Gabe Itch thing. I have no clue who that is. So if we don't have an answer, sorry.
it was hand read.
What does that mean? It was tame. With, yeah, with fart and piss and whatever they do. Is it piss that they do? Is it what? I know that they smell.
Yeah, no,
It,
I think it is piss.
but nah, no, thank you.
No.
What a good mechanism, though. It's like screw that shit.
You just have to smell that stuff once, and it's like, nah, never again.
I've never felt it, but people say that it's like the most intense, like ammonia smell. But
It is very intense. Like, it's terrible.
Unless you actually like sense it, you have no clue how strong it is. That's what I've heard. So yeah, I don't want to find out. Oh, raised by human. Ah, cool. Reminded me of right. They do look. They're also like thin, and they all look similar. Ferrets are also that kind of lanky little animal. Cool.
Yeah, reminded it of a ferret. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I've seen a ferret many times, but never a
like
skunk.
like a mongoose, a ferret, and a skunk can be domesticated to an extent, I believe. Just not a
What about
honey badger.
exactly? What about the honey badger? That's like the whale time trying to capture the xenomorph. That's what it would be like. It just doesn't work. Don't. You're being stupid. Stop.
Yeah, the last thing you want is to have a honey badger hold a grudge against you.
No.
That
No.
that thing will chase you from one side of the country to the other till it finds you.
That's insane. That reminds me, like that's an actual animal that like has that mentality that would do that. Because I just remembered Jaws for the Revenge, where the goddamn shark across the whole country. Like the only animal that could fit that description of being so hell bent on fucking you up, that's the honey badger man.
Definitely, or a wolverine.
Or a wolverine. They're on a mission, right?
Like a wolverine can't take on a bear, but it will do its damn finest job on intimidating a bear.
I've seen and read stuff about them seriously fucking up bears, like attacking the throat and slashing and biting and genuinely like fucking them up. So that's crazy. No fear. Crazy animals.
Yeah, gonna start living my life like a wolverine. Go
Yeah,
to a
like
go to a Meisner seminar. Just attack everyone.
oh my god. Have you had any Misnerites like going about on your channel? I still get like fairly often I get comments on one of the oldest videos of Misner I made. And just a few days ago I had another like mini discussion. And it's crazy how it's all cycles and it's all recycled garbage time after time. It's like I think maybe I'll hear something new, but no, of course not. It's always the same stuff. And
Yeah,
yeah,
but now like I'm having guys offering to pay for flights and tickets to go,
hmm,
and 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 like I'm very skeptical about this because it's like, my dude, you're a stranger on the internet.
right.
Like you're in my comment section saying that you're offering to pay. Like, one, do I believe it? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
no,
Like big no, big no.
like,
And it sucks if one of us on their own were to reach out and try. There's no filming, no chance. So it's like the
yeah,
game is doomed, essentially.
yeah, but
It's like
like, if this was an opportunity and I could like actually film it, then I would definitely like go and do it. But
right.
what's the chances, right? Because now it's like it's this whole thing of battling the anecdotal fallacy, right? Like, you've experienced it, so then you are the experts. Like, that's not how it works, right?
Right.
If you experience something, you can be told, ah, it works this way, but there's some other underlying mechanism that you're not aware of, but you just believe what you've been told, right? In the moment of having this experience. But then, if I go there and I have a negative experience and I like, okay, I'm going to stick to my guns because I don't believe this bullshit, then if I do the review, people are going to still attack me, going like, oh, but we were there, you got flung around, da 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 da. It's like, no, I didn't. But now it's this he said, she said bullshit. Now I'm quoting Limp Bizkit to make my point. But like, you need to film those interactions, but like film it in a series of tests, not demonstrations, so that you can actually bring your point across. But if said person is as skillful as they claim, then this shouldn't be a problem.
Exactly. And It's not that complicated at all. Like,
No.
if I truly knew that I have an ability to go to a workshop, if it's like obviously portable in every way, and if I can film, that has to be that's like the conditions. If that's not there, then I'm not interested. Like if there's no testing, no documenting, no me actually trying to stop you from doing that bullshit, then
Yeah.
there's no point. There's no point at all. Oh, Alan, a big one. My theory is that they want to get you there and either try to convince or they'll get a heavily edited video clip of you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's been offered the same, pretty much.
Yeah. But then you need to make an agreement. Okay, I'll film it on my side. You can film it on your side, and that way, if they bring the edited footage, then you bring on like a whole bunch of raw footage, and then you go like,
right, exactly, because that's one of the criticisms Alan would get when he would say, "Let's go, I'll film it." They'll be, "Well, you just edit the video," and his idea was, "Well, you can film it too." So, like, you film it too from your side, and up. That's it. Like, it's so simple. There's no. Yeah, he's tried and they decline. Whenever there's filming, they decline. That's hilarious.
But what it reminds me of when Conor McGregor had a sparring session with Chris van Heerden, who's a South African boxer, and then Conor released the footage, edited, making Conor look good, but then Chris van Heerden like actually put on the full rounds. It's like, nah, bruh, you're not that good.
No escape. That's such a simple fix to that issue. So it's really a non-issue. Like
exactly.
That should be anyone. It's a non-existent problem. That's just a cough out. So, do you think we'll ever get the chance to actually do that in our lifetime? To actually film a genuine HME practitioner trying against one of us? I don't think so.
No, it won't happen.
Right.
Like unless we have like the money to pay people, like it won't happen. But then of course then we would be accused of paying them. Like we accuse the guys in the documentary getting paid.
Right, that's stupid. Oh my
god. Alan says, yeah, I've tried that and they decline. Yeah.
Yep.
Who's scared? Who's scared? You go to a seminar, or you scared? It's like, no, I'm just poor.
Oh, is she snoring? Did she fall asleep?
Oh yeah, she's snoring.
Oh, so cute. Oh, so cute. Okay, she heard the first. She just heard Misner and fell asleep. So, oh God, dear God, not this again. Shut down.
Yeah, can sense the chi energy from a mile away, and she just gets put to sleep.
That's the true power of chi.
Like, have you actually watched that documentary?
No, I could. I tried. I genuinely tried. But
like
just
somebody on the
so quickly.
It is so boring. Like it, but like I'm a stubborn person. Like no, I'll watch this, and it's just like every time I say something, it's bullshit. It's just like with the basketball player, and then like he's just so amazed suddenly that Adam just pushed him. It's like no, he like made a little angle and like tripped him. That was it. Like what's so amazing about that? Like it was just a little trip. No, like chi energy or pushing or whatever. It just tripped him. It made him stumble a little bit. It's like, oh my.
We should really stop talking about Misner. She's not liking it. He's dreaming about a better world where there's no bullshit.
What's it? I actually showed my girlfriend the video with the jalapenos, and she's just like,
Did you?
yeah, and she was just like, what the fuck are you showing me?
Oh yeah, you actually mentioned that. Like, what the fuck is this?
And then she's like saying like, is this what people do? Do people actually believe this shit?
It's incredible. That's incredible.
It's like
Oh,
I get the jalapenos or whatever, but it's just burning my eyes.
oh, that's incredible. And you know, it's like when I started covering Misner stuff, because I've had like I commented on some of Alan's Misner videos, then some of yours, and that's when I think I made my first Misner video. It was all in response to people like jumping against me in those comments and showing up on my channel. So
Mm.
when I first started, I really didn't think that there'd be so much of mental gymnastics, or at least to that degree. I thought it's going to be like, oh, this is what we believe, and that's me. And of course, there's always pushback. But holy shit, like we get essays about this stuff, and like on and
Dude.
on and on. And at some point, I'm like, do you really enjoy arguing in YouTube comments like this much? And that's when they usually leave, because probably they even realize that it's like a bit too much. Like we're doing a YouTube comment thing. Like that's not a place for a proper discussion. That's
Yeah,
any more valuable than anything else. It's strange.
dude, like you say that, like my response at the like at the end of all these uh arguments is just like, and here you are taking a hick, making videos in his garage too seriously.
Exactly. But I think like biggest checkmate definitely was your fake demo thing, because I still to this day I still get people like falling for that shit. It's crazy.
Say, but like
Crazy.
I I should actually put on the thumbnail. This is an April Fool's joke, but it's in the description.
Right.
It's in the description, and it just goes like, stop taking shit at face value. Like,
Oh
if you
my
could just
God.
do a little bit more effort, just click show more, and then you can read like this is an April Fool's joke.
Right. It's oh my God. Also, I get besides Misner people, I do get like some people who are generally more into like Tai Chi and sort of the more I guess meditative side of Tai Chi, who also attack videos without actually probably watching them to the end, or just
Mm.
skimming by, but then leaving a huge comment, because obviously they don't see that I'm not criticizing Tai Chi as a whole or Kung Fu. I'm being very specific, not even just generally Misner, like specific claims. Like I always bring up the couch thing. Whenever they talk about, well, Tai Chi and specific these schools work by this, that, or whatever mechanism, I always bring it back. So the Misner sitting in a couch and doing that like stupid demo that was on McDojo Live. Like I'm talking about those things, nothing
Yeah,
else. It, the other context is not relevant. Like
no, it's not.
be
Yeah,
specific.
but like Tai Chi as a whole is in a quite a predicament at the moment, just because of guys like Meisner and
Yeah.
Misner or Damo Mitchell and that
What's the
that
real way?
whole crowd, and like the problem isn't just what they're practicing; it's also the alternative medicine that they practice that
Yeah.
goes with it. It's all based on misinformation and pseudoscience, and it's just like, oh, this is ancient knowledge, so it must be right. It's like, no, it's not how science works. It's kind of progressive. We've found out more things along the way. We understand more about the human body now.
The first computer is the best computer ever made, Nick, because it's old. The new one, the phone that we're using sucks. ENIAC, the computer, is the best because that's ancient knowledge. It's like, come on.
A Nokia 3310 will last forever. The phone that I'm on now, it could just break just by dropping it. Then this whole screen's broke. Nokia 3310, I could throw that at a car and I could stop the driver and cause a car crash, but the phone will be fine.
Exactly. It's a weapon, deadly brick. Nokia 3310 is my God. That I've seen like memes and images of like full body armors just made from Nokia 3310s. Like the newest military uniform. It's like, the one. Crazy.
Yeah, just thinking of that one meme with the armor, it's like, and then it's just the arrow that goes right through the helmet. The whole time.
Oh my God, that would be analogous to training HME for like a decade. Then first time sparring and just getting clipped by a boxer who's been training for a month. Like all that armor, all that protection just for one clip.
That sort of situation, I think of Kung Pao. This is Wen Lao. We taught him wrong as a joke.
How do you want to try your fist to my nuts style?
I'm the first one to bleed, therefore making me the victor.
Please, you idiot.
That movie.
Oh, and I just recently, like a year ago, learned that a lot of those scenes are actually like comped from actual movies, and that's so
they were
insane. That's crazy comping.
He was greened into all those scenes. Right. Yeah, like,
and it's so good. Like it still works fairly well. Like it's crazy. The kid never noticed that. So
I'm gonna watch that again. It's just so good.
Oh, we gotta do martial arts breakdowns from that film. That'd be great.
Yeah, like, now that one scene where he pokes all the eyes out, and he's got like 10 eyes, for like one eye for each finger, but there's like 4 other dudes. Where did the 2 extra eyes come from? We need a breakdown of that.
Do mental gymnastics and then figure out like a true in-universe explanation as to why they're there. Hey, we got Osab, our karate black belt, the martial geek karate tank. Yeah, you gotta work. It's seasonal work. We're working, boys. Yeah, I didn't attend training today, but tomorrow we're all going to Lokrum, which is an island close nearby to the city. So we're gonna fuck around, train, and swim tomorrow. So it's gonna be awesome. But yeah, Osat, he's the only martial geek that actually fought pro in MMA, and the karate black belt as well. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, you're free next week. We're gonna do some D&D. Let's woo. You play D&D, Nick? I'm guessing probably.
I've played it once.
Oh, that's
just once.
If we ever meet up, one night has to be D&D.
Man, like I barely have time to play my video games, so like D&D is like a huge commitment.
Right, but like a one-off session, like for a few hours, that's always fun. Speaking of video games, check this out. Time paradox. 2 Soul Reavers clashing. I just ordered this one.
Yes. You're a massive Legacy of Kain fan.
Absolutely. It's one of my obsessions, unfortunately. And especially
Yeah,
now, since the whole news and stuff has been going around, it's crazy. It's like, woof, been a long while since we had anything happening with that IP. So that's pretty cool.
yeah. I blame the company that last held the IP. What's it? IDOS?
Yes. And then now Crystal Dynamics has it, but since I think Blood Omen was done by Silicon Knights and Soul Reaver was done by Eidos, then Eidos like went away and Square Enix took over, and then and it's all like a whole crazy rights issues for a long time. And Crystal
Yeah.
Dynamics just been pumping Tomb Raider out for years, and it's the only thing that they've been doing. And now finally the rights seem to be back in one place. Kind of like when MCU was trying to gather all of their properties and stuff. So I think Legacy Pain now is finally under one roof, I guess. So if we're gonna get remasters or remakes, now is the time. So
Yeah, and also like if those I would say go for the remasters first, and then maybe remake the original Blood Omen.
yes,
I think that
would.
And then
that's dated the most. It's the only one that's 2D. It's the oldest. Yeah.
It's the oldest one, so that one does deserve a remake. But then, we need the conclusion to all this.
Exactly, it's insane. It's just 5 games, and it's a hell of a cliffhanger. So that's
Raziel's supposed to be the Soul Reaver. Now he's like, now he's the sword. Like now, like we need
more. The last word that we hear ever spoken in the series is hope, because this should be just the beginning, where it's like, okay, we solved the first issue, now we can actually change something, and it just ends with hope. Come on. that's like the worst cliffhanger you can possibly do, and then 20 years later, still nothing.
hoping for a finale.
Right. But did you see the Kickstarter actually like blew up insanely good? Like their initial goal was set to $2,500, and in just a matter of few days, it got almost like $500,000, and now it's going over $1 million. So fans are hungry. Holy shit! Like I was worried that, oh, what if the Kickstarter, there's just gonna be me and a few people who've actually played those games, and it's not gonna succeed. And now it's like going well over $1 million. Like Jesus Christ, that's some proper like screaming for more. So we'll see.
Yeah, so that should actually just get something off the ground, like properly.
Right. And I still do think that the actual remasters are coming, but I'm thinking that they're waiting for the Kickstarter thing to finish, like the whole thing, because my thoughts were, if we're making the graphic novel and the whole Kickstarter thing to support it, if we were to just look, guys, we got a remaster, that's what you've been waiting for, probably less people would be inclined to buy the graphic novel and be engaged. So I'm thinking from a business standpoint, they're waiting a bit more until they reveal the remasters, because that San Diego footage, it really did seem that it's genuine. That there was a fucking plaque that said Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered. And the statues are real, they've been confirmed. So it's up in the air, but I do think that they will drop the remasters in some time. So, oh my god, Josip spamming a dumb inside joke that started on my first stream with Alan, whenever we did that one. And it's too convoluted to explain, and I'm stop. Fuck you. That's Josip from Martial Geeks, the technique sponge, you can see. And that's essentially a joke about Wing Chun, how in Croatian it sounds like winged penis. So yeah, he's very mature. That's all that it is. Right, Orsat, exactly. Yeah, like the world links you've gained nutcases. That's also crazy how we've met up and actually everybody is up with the good stuff. My man. Winged wiener.
I never thought I was gonna like just talk about Soul Reaver and Wing Chun penis jokes today.
Welcome to Martial Geeks. Nobody's sane here. It's just insane people.
Yeah.
How do the two of you find places to train that suit your training objectives? That's a cool question. Nick, you're a bit more like organized in your training stuff, so you can answer maybe first, and then I'll go in with my chaos.
Geez, hey, so I've trained at a few places, and I've trained with a boxing coach that never let me fight, and then I've also trained with a MMA guy once, and well, he didn't know his shit, and I didn't know any better at the time, right? So as I got older, I've trained at different places, and you find it along the way. You just have to put yourself out there and go to some stuff. But like, if you are looking for like to identify red flags, just ask someone, and I'm sure they'll help. But like, if somebody's not letting you fight, make sure it's within good reason where you're not capable. But if you're training there for 2 years and they're not like letting you compete, okay, that's a problem.
Right.
Do research on techniques. You got YouTube now, right? So if somebody tells you, no, you do a fall like this and stick out your arm, it's like, no, that's how you break an arm. And if they want to like talk down on you like they're this authority figure, that's a red flag. If you have to just buy that place's merchandise to train in, that's a red flag. So
if the head coach shows you a rear naked choke like this, that's a red flag. Like I've seen so many people like McDojos in grappling, like do this and just slightly rest this, like when they're doing a rear naked. It's not even like here. You just do this, and it's like that's the choke. But it's like that's like the Master Wong Ramsey Dewey beef that happened a few years ago, where Master Wong was.
I remember.
Yeah, it was like this. It's like snake style. It's like, come on, shut the fuck. Just do it properly. So if they do this,
like, I hate it when people do this. It's like, are you wearing MMA gloves? You have no reason to choke someone like that. It's like this.
It's like
touch your own shoulder with your fingers, like so.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's an X force.
and then like literally when I let my students get me into rear naked chokes the whole time, right? So like if they do it like this, then I just push the elbow up, because when you do it like this, the elbow flares pointing up. So it's just like push, peel off,
and slap.
Yeah, like don't do that again. But like when it comes to finding a place to train at, like you just have to research these places, and you need to ask yourself what your goals are. Are you going to be a competitor? Do you want to specialize in grappling, striking? Then you just need to find the rule set that is best for you.
Right.
And I say that because like some people will enjoy judo more than they enjoy jiu-jitsu, right? When it comes to no-gi, maybe some people enjoy the no-gi jiu-jitsu more than the gi.
Exactly.
Maybe some people enjoy wrestling more, some people enjoy boxing more, or kickboxing, or Muay Thai more, or you want to just do full on MMA. Like, you just need to see what you want in regards of
Yeah.
competition, then go to a place that can train you for those rule sets better, where you want to specialize. But then, if it's for self-defense reasons, then I mean, you're gonna have to hop from place to place to place to place to place to place. And that's it. Like, you have to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. There's no one size fits all when it comes to self-defense. So, I mean, 6 months of jiu-jitsu will give you a lot. 6 months of wrestling will give you a lot. 6 months of boxing will give you a lot, self-defense wise, because there's so many different scenarios to cover, right? So if we take the stats from certain countries, like in America, it's only 1 out of every 3 attacks involve a weapon. So wouldn't it be more viable to prepare for, unarmed combat? Thanks. Then also, when it comes to certain cases of SA, it's going to happen with individual that you know.
Right.
That's the scary part. So once again, wouldn't knowing unarmed combat be more suitable, and knowing grappling be more suitable for those scenarios? Because it's going to happen when you least expect it, be it when you've had one too many drinks, or any moment of vulnerability. So yeah, you need to do some research, and you need to ask yourself what your goals are and do so accordingly. And
Right. Never easy. It's not as easy as going somewhere. And
yeah,
especially now when I see this comment hits really home, because that's essentially where I feel that I'm at, like Pacific Brawling. The issue I run into is I don't feel like I fit in with MMA or with traditional arts. And I'm going to tell you right away, that's kind of where I feel that I'm stuck at, because I genuinely enjoy like just exploring random martial arts stuff for the sake of exploring martial arts stuff. So when I do like sort of more esoteric traditional stuff like Aikido things or Wing Chun that I showcase a lot, it's not even from like modernizing this. And it's just because it's fun for me. I enjoy it for the sake of it. But I also have the side where it's like, well, I also like knowing how to fight and compete. So it is a strange position to be in. And currently, I don't. We haven't solved that issue, but essentially, currently, we're mostly active training at a sport jiu-jitsu gym. So that's not BJJ. That's like the JJIF sport jiu-jitsu, which is like a younger variant. I think it was codified in '98, and it's essentially, when it comes to the rule sets, it's essentially Shotokan karate plus also judo. But over time, it's becoming more closely related and associated with BJJ, because ground stuff is just ground stuff. Techniques are the same. Um, we also compete in MMA. So essentially, what we do right now is attend jujitsu classes for the love of jujitsu, be it BJJ or the JJIF stuff that we do, and compete there. But on the side, because I found good people, Martial Geeks are awesome. It's like the dream group of people who share all pretty much the same ideas and feel the same way. So then we can together train for MMA and compete in like open tournaments. So that's what we've been doing. So like crazy fact about like my training, I've only had like 3 or 4, maybe even less formal MMA classes in my entire life with like a proper MMA coach. It's just been exploring us, YouTube, other people who've actually fought to give me tips and train me. But it was mostly just like a chaotic mixture of what we would do, because that's what we wanted to do. And then we went and competed. And I think as long as it's amateur, that's not a bad thing. But again, it really depends on the group that you meet. Like if I was with somebody else, that wouldn't be possible. I wouldn't. Nobody would be able to like give me proper knowledge and proper training. So it's like self-taught, but it's not at all self-taught. It's just accumulative knowledge and training from many, many people who've actually fought in various combat sports, including mixed martial arts, like Gorsat, who's just gone to work, I think. He's started karate. He's still Shotokan karate black belt. But then he moved on to JJIF Jiu-Jitsu, and then to amateur, and then pro MMA. So he's had coaches, and he's not an official coach, but he does know his shit. So he knows what he knows, and he knows what he doesn't know. And I think that's where people need to be to truly like help you grow. So we're in a weird spot. We're still figuring out how, like later on, will it be our own gym in the future? What's possible? We have no clue. But so far, whenever we're doing the jujitsu training, we do like with the coach, we do jujitsu by the book first, and then there's an hour left of training where we can screw around. Where I either do aikido bullshit and rolling sessions, or if we're more focused on a competition, then we train MMA. So it's like a mixture for me. And it's not perfect, but I feel like meeting the right people, unfortunately, which can be hard, is really, really important. And that's why I feel like I'm blessed in this position, because it's hard to meet like-minded people. So,
it is difficult to find like-minded people. Like, it's just, you go to some places and there's a culture of just a culture of being assholes, right? And then bully the new guys, and well, it's not nice. It's not welcoming, and it's not necessarily MMA that's the problem, or the style that's the problem. Is it's what the coach allows to happen there. That's the problem. Is there professional conduct or is there not?
Exactly.
So if if you don't feel like you fit in with MMA or traditional arts, it's not MMA or traditional arts. It's the gym itself. And I'm known as like an asshole when I roll, but like I do these things that will be painful, will make you tired, take your breath away the whole time, and I'm very playful when I do it. Right? It's just one of those things. Your style matches your personality, and I'm a guy that likes pranking people, or like toy with them a little bit. It's how I am, right? But it's always out of fun and jest, never something to take personally. I won't go that far. Where things go personal. But like at the end of the day, when it comes to the guys that I'm teaching, there's a certain group where it's like, okay, this is the group where shit goes down, right? Like you get humiliated, you're in pain. This is comp prep, right? Like, and then there's people that just come for the fun of it and learning. Okay, those people, like, I'm not gonna go full out with them.
Right.
I'm not gonna treat them like the comp class people, and for reasons. It's not the same. It's not the same mentality that's there. So like, but the point that I want to get back to is like some people think like I'm an asshole. It's like, no, I roll with you like that because you're competing. So if I'm not tough on you, how do you know you're going to be tough in competition?
Right.
Right.
We've had a guy, but I'm not sure. Like, was he actually a bit mad or not? Maybe I'm just totally wrong. But he was like a BJJ guy, and he was in town shortly, and he found that there is a jiu-jitsu gym. But then we told him right away, look, this is a JJIF Jiu-Jitsu gym, so it's not BJJ. It's not typical stuff. And if there's not a coach doing like the typical stuff, that's mostly judo for a while now. If we're gonna roll, like we do wrist locks, it looks a bit different, and we do all this stuff, and it seems fine. And then I rolled with him, and of course, that like I said, I do wrist locks. This is part of the style and fits me personally. And it's not like haha fuck you thing. It's more like I love finding openings for these hard weird things. And I did like a koregaeshi or something, and he like fell down and tapped, and he never came back. I feel so bad because, like, I think like in BJJ, like the wrist locks are like from the devil, and it's such a different view. And my thoughts were, well, we did say that we do this, and we did say that it's a bit different. And again, we didn't use the super dangerous stuff. It's just not more dangerous than tapping to an armbar. It's pretty much with control. But I feel like that can also be misconstrued as, oh, you're being an ass to a guy that just joined to a rolling session. But it literally, we do the Japanese old school like jiu-jitsu stuff. that's the whole thing of that gym. So it's weird. Like styles can be misconstrued because of course a lot of people like to style on people with wrist locks, so that can be seem disrespectful. But this guy was my level. Like he was super tough for my level. It's not like I was playing around with him. Like he took me down a few times and pinned me in, and we came back. I just did that wrist lock, and from that moment on, I felt like, oof, something in the air changed a bit, and I don't know if I like it. So, oof. That's
Hey man, like it's just a wrist lock. Like it's not a big deal.
like to me, it's not that big of a deal. Like it's just another technique.
Yeah, some tried to wrist lock me once, so then I neck cranked him.
That's even worse. I do those too. I'm
I'm that guy. Like, don't do that again. Just
That's so crazy. Well, if we train, I'm guessing I'm getting neck cranked because I'm definitely
just a wrist lock. Wrist lock, especially this wrist. This one, this left wrist. This was the problem one.
Okay, so the right one. I'll try the right one and get neck cranked.
Yeah, this one's fine. This one's a bit iffy. Like you should hear it click.
Oh yeah! Holy shit! Yeah, that one's out of that one's out of order. Not going to be touched. But also, what is funny when you mentioned the MMA gym that nobody wanted to train there, there is always like that sort of like when we would like join some classes in like the MMA gym in Dubrovnik, and we like go after the training or during something, we'd ask to go in the ring or something to spar and prepare, because it would be good to do some proper preparation at our gym and then hop onto their gym and get it all set up and train there as well. And of course, some people would jump in, and it's like amateur MMA guys, and we'd roll, and you can feel that it's like, ooh, those are like the traditional jiu-jitsu, like judo-esque guys that can't fight. Like you can sense that they want to pry open and then sort of like, I don't know, I guess do the ego thing. And so just Aikido them and it would work. And that would do like the contra effect where it's like, oh shit, this actually works. So that's also like a funny dichotomy, how sometimes it can be a positive thing depending on how it's perceived. Where it's like to the MMA guys, which probably because there's less of a traditional mindset than in BJJ guys, because BJJ is kind of becoming, or it's already and always has been kind of a traditional type thing, even though it's a realistic combat sport, there's a lot of tradition involved. So I feel like
You're telling me like the suits, the belts that come from Japanese origins from like just about 100 years ago, which the Brazilians adapted, is something traditional.
Right? And us, like that, you can't tell me that's a tradition. So it's funny that the anime guy,
Lining up and greeting each other formally, the tying your belt away from your sensei, not like
come on,
come on. Come on.
traditional part right there. But I was gonna say, like the anime guys took their me wrist locking them more seriously in terms of, oh, there's something here, than some BJJ guys. So that's also interesting. How, like, I guess MMA is less traditional in that sense, and people are interested when they see. Like Alan would often speak of the similar thing when he would like talk about Tai Chi or whatever. Like if he'd show something in sparring, they wouldn't want to argue. They'd be like, "Oh, fair enough. That I guess that works. That's just normal fighting, like anything else." So interesting how mindsets are kind of different there.
Yeah, but like with jujitsu or BJJ, right? You're gonna have that one lazy guy that does the wrist locks. You know, like yeah,
I
right.
do only wrist locks. That's like
At like at MMA gyms, you don't get that because everyone's got like more of a wrestler mentality when it comes to MMA. Like you have to outwork everyone. So like wrist locks get over because there's no time to be lazy. Excuse
yes.
me. And, you know, with that situation that you described, like for MMA guys, probably just like you know the first time you did a fight and then you like overwork the fight in your head and then you end up losing because the first time you make contact, it's just like, whoa, this is not going the way I expected it. That's
Exactly.
probably what went in their minds. So that way, like,
Oops.
they made the wrist locks more effective on themselves because of their mindset.
Right. Right.
Because it's so unexpected.
Right. It's like there's so much that goes into this stuff psychologically that a lot of times gets overlooked as well. So that is true. I'm just charging my phone here. I had to change position. And
I've been keeping my phone on charge the whole time.
Right, and it's been over an hour, and so we can close it down soonish. Oh yeah, I can actually charge it here.
See, but Pacific Brawling here has made a few comments. I actually created this channel with the goal of creating a community for people who are interested in the study of martial arts in general, rather than owning in on one goal.
That's awesome. I'll definitely check out the channel. I'll subscribe. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, you know, like if you're more into like exploring and learning, that's why I do this. Like I'm more interested in just learning and stuff. You know, it's just what I'm interested in. Like some of my earlier videos is like literally just looking at games like Tekken and stuff and just like explaining things from there.
I remember, yeah, those videos are awesome.
Yeah, I want to actually focus on the more positive stuff like that than the Meisner bullshit because like that Meisner stuff has got the most views. It's just like, you know, I'm just not interested in the mental gymnastics that I have to deal with people at this point. It's just like I'm gonna do. I've got one more video on Meisner, and then I'm gonna be done for a while.
Perfect, because I feel like your defense of debunkers and skeptics video like covered pretty much everything that it needed to, and that's like a fine, huge ass video that can just be as like.
And it hasn't got a response from said person yet.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
How did you guys at Martial Geeks find each other?
That's
algorithm. YouTube algorithm.
yeah, exactly.
YouTube algorithm.
YouTube algorithm did the thing, and it's just and Misner criticism helped, I'm sure. That had to.
Like the YouTube algorithm is more precise than Tinder's.
It's actually hilarious and kind of true, to be honest. That's funny because everybody shits on TikTok's algorithm of fighting people, and then look at this shit. Like, we got the ass conference going. Like, that ain't happening with Twitter, where actual asses are supposed to be involved. On Tinder, rather.
All about clapping them cheeks. What's the next one here? Last MMA gym I went to, I had to leave because no one wanted to train with me because of my weird traditional blocking style.
Right. So I'm guessing, like, is it like sometimes, like the Aikido thing that I mentioned, sometimes if you're doing things weird and not necessarily even wrong, but like weird, people may have like a, I don't know, like a gut reaction where, oh, this guy's just like screwing around, doesn't know what he's doing, or he's trying to like one up people or style on people. So that might have had something to do with it, but I'm not sure, like, in what way did they not want to train. So that really, and what kind of traditional Seif Wheel Curb agrees. Hey Ryan, what up? Been a while.
Yeah, like it's if people don't want to train with you, like maybe you hurt their egos, but I don't know you personally, or I haven't trained with you, so I don't know what the case is, right? But like maybe there's something that you do that really irritates them, and if it's a skill thing, then that's a them problem. But if it's like some form of dirty trick, then I can we can agree who's the problem on that. But um at the end of the day, when it comes to sparring and training, it's about developing skill. And if you're doing something that is throwing people off and it's awkward, that's a them problem. Then they should actually pick you out to train, to spar with you more, or to train with you more, because you've got that awkward thing. And that means they can't read you, and that's a massive skill lacking on their part.
Yeah.
I mean, if we talk about boxing, right? Isn't the primary skill of boxing like seeing and reacting? That's like the primary skills of boxing, right? Like seeing.
It sounds a bit
Sorry?
like it sounds a bit like the Drickus thing, and like your recent
Yeah.
video on Drickus. If something's weird and unorthodox but works, and it's proving itself, and people don't seem to be able to deal with it like they don't with Drickus, it's not wrong. Like, that's a them problem.
It's not. But like,
read Drickus, that's an easy problem. That's not DDP doing anything wrong.
Like people have this weird way of moving their shoulder, so you can't determine which punch is coming in and when it's going to hit. So like that's a them problem if they can't read that. And that's like, if you look at many boxing champions, right? Like Rocky Marciano, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Roy Jones Jr., Mike Tyson, like very unorthodox boxing styles, and it just works, right?
Yep.
But it's just because they are difficult to read and they're unorthodox. But then, in the same breath, like if 95% of boxers work with a traditional boxing stance and style, why shouldn't you?
Yeah.
You haven't found your place with it yet, But anyway, it could have mostly just boiled down to an ego thing.
Yeah,
that's it. Like they don't want to train with you because you make them feel like they suck. Then
yep, we genuinely don't know. Like, that's not enough info, but that's stuff that usually happens. So
yeah. Like I won't go train with somebody that purposely hurts people.
Yeah.
We had this kid once where, like, you just tap him, right? And like he obviously doesn't like being touched, and then he would just start wailing. It's like, nah, bro.
Yeah. Nope.
And then
nope.
Doesn't learn his lesson when he gets dropped with a liver shot or pressure put on him, so he doesn't know how to handle it. Then goes and cries in the bathroom. But like,
Or if you do well placed like head kick and just like slightly tap the person, and then they do like a spinning back fist and smack you hard over the head. It's like, yeah, you were knocked down, dude. Like that's bad sparring etiquette. So stuff like that. Yeah.
No, it's just like, if we agreed to go do some hard sparring, then sure, then it's on, and it is needed sometimes, but you have to be careful when you choose that one, and you must be aware that the risk is very high. And I mean, I don't like hard sparring.
Me neither.
Like
yeah.
I just recovered from a concussion not too long ago and vertigo because I just had this minor bump on the wall with my head.
Right. That sucks.
Right. Like it was literally, it felt like that in the moment, not much. Like the next day, my head's spinning, I'm vomiting, and that's just from a little bump. Like what's full on sparring gonna do?
Yeah, like it's super unnecessary. Like most sparring should really be light, and even hard sparring, I'd make a case that it doesn't have to be as hard as maybe some other people show in like competition prep, because of course you want to feel what it's actually like. You do want to simulate the fight as best as you can, but again, like if you trust the people and you train with these people regularly and you're very like closer in that sense, like you can figure out an optimal way to spar hard, because I'm guessing all the champions and like elite level mixed martial artists or combat sport athletes in any way, like when they do hard sparring, it's not just some random guys at a gym that you train with. It's like their team. It's like people they trust. And it's the same.
It's
doing hard.
Your sparring partner is probably being paid for that hard session.
Yeah.
He's getting compensated. Or she's getting compensated like for that session, right? So at the end of the day, like the hard sparring needs to be like chosen at a good time where you can risk a slight injury and still recover before the fight and whatnot. But then also, I mean, you can spar every day if the intensity is right. Exactly. It isn't sparring about developing skill anyway. So if you can spar every day with a focus on developing your skills, aren't you going to just improve quicker?
And again, if you're training with trustworthy people, you can spar light, but they can respect your shots. Like if I get head kicked, I'm not gonna spaz and ignore the kick. I'll be like, okay, you got me. That's a nice kick. Now we move further. It's like the sparring etiquette, even like light sparring, it needs to be there, because if you just lightly tap me on my leg, I also have to understand that would have been a devastating leg kick if it was right. So there's knowledge that comes with that. It's not like just tapping without like a system developed. So it really depends as well, like with who you're training. And if you're competing, then of course you have to really be smart about how you approach it. It's not just let's spar for shits and giggles. It should never be that. So, we got Aikido Silverdale. We got Duncan. That's an awesome Aikido channel as well. Hello. Let's see. Did we skip anything? Don't we like play traditional arts? I prefer more live training. I like traditional setup. Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of I don't really necessarily care about like I'm responding to Pacific Brawling before I respond further. Like to me, it doesn't really matter about like, is this combat sport, is this traditional martial art? Like I'm interested in martial arts as a whole. Like I said, like I enjoy wrist locks and I enjoy traditional stuff that's like esoteric and weird, but not because it belongs to a traditional martial art, or MMA because it belongs to a combat sport. I just enjoy it for the sake of it being what it is. So where it comes from and what the real label that should be used is, I don't care about that much. It's just what fits me and whatever my goal is at the moment. But let's see, Aikido Silverdale. So Duncan says traditional martial arts often breeds loyalty without critical thinking to the process. Challenge that and you inevitably upset some people. Yeah, exactly. That's the age-old problem.
Challenge the cult, and you'll
Yeah,
be expelled.
yeah. So Pacific Boxing Brawling also says MMA feels a bit unfamiliar and foreign fairly often because of my. Yeah, okay, yeah, purists. I don't know. Purism is the weird thing. That's such a even in good quote unquote good functional combat sports, I'm not into like purism. Sure, if somebody wants to just do that and they're just training for a pure, just singular martial art like a Muay Thai purist, it's fine as long as that Muay Thai purist doesn't like pretend to know BJJ as good as a BJJ black belt. And same goes for a karate traditionalist black belt. If what they're doing and what they're preaching, look, this is for me. I prefer karate. I'm never going to do MMA. And I'm not going to tell you and teach you about MMA or pretend I'm a smartass there. I'm just going to teach you what I know. That's awesome. That's great. But like purists who think that their style is the only one that's the best, that shit sucks. That's stupid, and it couldn't be more stupid.
Yeah, no, it's absolute bullshit, because the thing is, like, once again on the Drinkers video, it's not about techniques and it being clean cut. It's about what works. And if it's messy, what's the problem, right?
In my opinion,
Like
that's good technique.
any technique, be it grappling or striking, right? You're gonna find something similar with that, with stuff from other styles. So as long as the concept is true, then the
Yes.
technique should work, right? But like, I coach boxing, right? So like, I teach a certain style of boxing, right? Because in my mind, I think, okay, it's amateurs. I want to get guys like a bit more aggressive, right? So I teach a certain style of boxing. But then when it actually comes to my competition classes, I work with what they give me, right? I just say, like, no, we teach this, you understand it as such, right, in this class, and you just take it and you make it your own. And if you do that, you'll be fine. And then whatever style that guy's boxing, I can see they taking the idea and making it their own. I can see it, right? But it's like, okay, there's no need to adjust it. It's working. You understand it. That's fine. It's all that matters. It's just a concept, nothing else. It's not
Exactly.
you do it strictly like this for reason. Like, no, what's the concept behind it? Once you figure that out, play with it. That's it. Done. If
No,
anybody
more.
otherwise, you find other coaches.
Exactly. Oh, let's see. If you spar hard enough to trigger adrenaline and cortisol response, and it actually reduces the ability for students to learn. Exactly. Science shows
Yeah.
benefits. Exactly. You're going to learn better. Anything really, if it's in more playful and safe environment. Like pressure, like when they say diamonds are formed under pressure or whatever, that's like when it comes to the performance. But learning slash training, like if you're studying in school or in college, and if you're reading a book and preparing an exam or whatever, you don't want like 57 billion cars passing every second and earthquakes shaking, because that's going to make you feel pressure, and then you're not going to learn shit. You need silence, you need comfort, so that your brain can work. So science absolutely does say that. And same with sparring. If you're constantly scared about somebody clipping you hard, like you're not going to learn that slip. Like you're not going to learn that parry. You're just going to be scared and smashed in the face and not learn shit. So yeah, playfulness is the key. And yeah, I also agree with Duncan for Aikido Silver Day. And 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. How different can it be? Yeah, like all these martial arts, wherever they come from, they all boil down to the same stuff. Like it's all fighting.
Yeah, it's all fighting, but like 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. Like, people have different length arms, people have different length legs, so different strategies are going to be at play. That's the only difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. Like I'm Alan, me, and you are completely different, like shaped, weight, height, and like style and perception and thoughts. But it's like, I think what he's meaning is there's not going to be like movie magic stuff that doesn't work. Like, it's always going to be fighting. Like, a punch is a punch, a kick is a kick. What kind it is and what you prefer, that's so much different. And that's where also you're right. Like, I think you said this last stream that we had, or when we were together the first time. I think, like, traditional martial arts screw up in that department because, like, in karate, everybody does the same movement. But when they actually compete, they're going to have to move differently. It's not going to be kata. Like, in kata, it all looks the same. But like a chunkier, heavier guy is not going to be able to do the same kicks, but he's going to be better at something else than a lighter, thinner guy. So, like, molding everybody to be the same is trash as well. Like, I'm going to fight differently than Nick, and Nick's going to fight differently than Alan, and then Duncan from Aikido, Silverdale, or Pacific Brawling, and we're all different. So styles are a real thing. Not martial arts styles, but personal styles. So that is true. And traditional arts screw that part up often. Yeah.
Do you guys believe free sparring?
Yeah, you can take this one, Nick.
Do you guys believe free sparring is necessary? I'm not so sure. If we have drills and positional sparring and sequential sparring.
I do believe free sparring, but this one, you take it.
So, are you sure? Looks like you got a lot to say about this one too.
You can take it, but yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted a movie on TV and got lost for a moment.
So like, free sparring is absolutely necessary, right? Yeah. Because now the thing is, even though that it's free sparring, it is a perfect opportunity for you to test out a game plan, right? So if your game plan is to set up a liver shot, right, then free sparring is the perfect time to put that to the test. And that's it. Like, as long as when you're free sparring, you have a game plan in mind that you want to work on, then all for it. But if you're deriving away from that game plan the whole time, you're not going to develop skills, right? So the emphasis is on you to know what you want to work on during that free sparring round, right? But when it comes to, say, you got your drills, that's to, like, just make sure that the movement is understood and put into place, right? That's it. Positional sparring. Okay, so you're just practicing in that position the whole time. Okay, cool. You got that position covered. And sequential sparring, I mean, just going through the motions once again, right? But like, that's for your coordination, right? Those types of sparring is there to put those drills into practice, right? With resistance, essentially. But free sparring is for you to actually get there.
Yes.
And put it in place. You're gonna, if you know, like, how to get a dominant position and force it on and actually work that technique, that's where free sparring comes in. So you can have a game plan and actually implement that, and you can control the narrative getting to that.
Exactly. I think you just perfectly, like, covered that thing, because, like, free sparring not only gives you opportunity to test your techniques out, more importantly, it's about tactics. That's what free sparring gives. If I'm doing a positional sparring in, like, bottom side control, and I'm trying to escape, and I'm just doing positional escapes and positional sparring from that position, I get out and then we switch and roll or whatever, and do it over and over. I'm not actually deriving any tactics. I'm not developing my game plan, like you said. So if I were to go and fight in MMA, amateur MMA, let's say, without ever free sparring, how will I be ready for a chaotic position that I may not have, like, been aware or ready of, or whatever chaotic can happen in a fight? Like, if I've just did these positions that are most common, uncommon shit can happen, and unpredictable, chaotic stuff. Like fighting is chaotic as fuck. Like any,
Yeah,
like
it is.
even BJJ, even if you're doing the guard pulling, like sort of less aggressive defensive game, it's still chaotic as all hell. And then MMA is 10 times like more chaotic in that sense. So like you need free sparring for it to be like controlled chaos, as judo guys would say, randori, like controlled chaos. You absolutely need that. So
Mm. Okay, so I get that. I feel maybe an inefficient way to do it. Like with positional sparring, I have a bubble to work in. I can categorize the learning better that way. With free sparring, I find a lack of context.
that is
Okay.
true. Free sparring without positional sparring and all that stuff can lead in like you not developing like
Yeah.
proper skills for proper situations. You need both. But if you don't have any free sparring to actually test that stuff out properly with no like the least amount of rules or limitations that actually simulate a fight, you're not going to be able to get in those positions. Like again,
Yeah.
if I'm drilling a positional sparring and like let's say I'm in top side control and I'm ground and pounding and I'm trying to remain control and then maybe go to mount and then keep fighting and look for an armbar. What if I just get clipped in free sparring? Like all that drilling and all that positional sparring I did is doing nothing because I'm on my ass down on the bottom with a person in my guard trying to smash me. So now I'm in that position. So should I go and do positional sparring from that place? But then somewhere later, something else is going to happen that's like that. So you need that freedom. That's super important. So it's not inefficient in any way. It's very efficient. You just need that like positional stuff as well.
What I'm gonna say now is, are you recording your free sparring rounds? If not, well, how do you know what you need to work on?
Exactly.
Essentially. So, like, if you're recording your rounds now, like now you can see what you're doing. Now you're gonna have something to work with in terms of context, because now, like, okay, I'm not making any form of valuable engagement. Like, I'm not throwing my jab, or I can't get the takedown. Like, now we can actually just go, where's your setups, where's your distractions, and where's the actual commitment for the technique to get to where you want to be, right?
Exactly.
That way we can actually just point out everything. That should give you a clue on what you should drill. And here's the thing that you're not going to want to hear, which is 90% of your training is on you, 10% comes from classes.
Yep.
So when you do your free sparring, you can watch those rounds, judge yourself from a third person perspective. You can even go to a coach that you can trust, or a friend that you can trust with constructive criticism. With that, then you can actually determine what you need to work on, and you can base a whole bunch of drills based on that sparring footage alone.
Perfect. Perfectly said. And we record everything from day one. I recorded everything because I immediately knew that from just like a position of, ooh, I got footage of me sparring. And in the beginning, that was like a novelty thing when I just started doing martial arts and stuff. But then later on, we just film everything. And one of the coolest feelings I've ever felt, it was, I think, quite close to my first MMA fight, just before I fought for the first time. And I had recorded an MMA sparring session. It was a free sparring session. And I remember being like watching it back and being like, okay, this, I need to fix this. But I did a lot of like cool stuff that I expected, that I was like proud of. It was like, oh, this is a good sparring session. This looks good. I'm like doing good. This is great. I felt really cool. And then I didn't record for a certain amount of time. And just before the MMA fight, I went back to that footage, and all I could see is mistakes. And how, like, I was like, I suck. like this is trash. Like I can't believe that I thought this was good. And then in that moment I was like, oh shit, I'm improving. This is awesome. Like I need to keep doing this. And now in every like previous sparring from like a sort of like, there is, of course, it's not like every sparring session, but like when I go back, I cringe the fuck out. Like that's a sign of improvement. So definitely, like filming is great from any angle you can think of. It's useful.
I bet now when you record yourself and you actually watch it, you can actually see like, no, in that moment, this felt good. I'm nailing this guy with it. But then when you watch it, it's like, nah, this is actually a false positive.
Yeah, yeah. There's so much stuff. It like opens so much up. Like I feel like filming training sessions and especially sparring sessions, free sparring sessions, it's so valuable. Like you can, we like nerd out and like analyze the shit out of sparring sessions, and I'm pretty sure that that's one of the reasons why like we're improving. Like we wouldn't if we again were when it comes to MMA, we're coachless. We do have jiu-jitsu coaches, but MMA, it's just us. So like filming us and researching and comparing and trying to figure it out that way, that's super useful for us. So definitely record yourself free sparring. There's so much valuable stuff to learn from there, especially with the false positives. If you do that a technique once and never ever again, likelihood it was a false positive, or at least you weren't proficient in that technique and you shouldn't focus on it as your game plan thing. So yeah, stuff to learn.
Or your sparring partner is a complete idiot.
Yes, you can learn plenty of different things from free sparring footage. I've done free sparring for my whole martial arts career, only recorded a couple of times though. Well, so your free sparring is good. And like we said, I think that's necessary. But it depends again on your goal. Like if you truly want to improve in a certain like rule set or just in general, it's always good to film yourself. So I definitely like recommend that you record yourself and then watch the footage back and give it a couple of months with active training and go back and compare. It works pretty good.
It's important. You must try and record yourself as often as possible. I'm guilty of not recording myself as much as possible. Like
I don't do always. So.
I actually wanted to post up some sparring footage. I must just get the footage because somebody else recorded it for me because my phone's memory was like not good that day. And because now I'm training with a bunch of white belts and a blue belt, right? So like these guys don't know anything. So I thought like, no, let me do something completely weird. I'm gonna just put on a luchador mask and I'm gonna roll with you guys today. And I absolutely sucked that day. Like,
oh my god,
I was so thrown off just because I was wearing a mask because my head was heated up. It felt compressed. It didn't feel comfortable. Like my mouth was open, my nose was open, but for some reason it just felt like I couldn't breathe. It threw me off completely. Where like I'm playing God with this white belt. It's just like I don't play here. Why is this happening?
Like that kind of similar thing happens to me when I put on the gi because I suck at the gi. I'm such a no gi bastard. I enjoy learning the gi, and I really do genuinely want to get better at it because it is cool. The grips are cool. All that stuff is awesome. But whenever I put it on, I just like my confidence for whatever reason just drops, and I just don't feel as comfortable. And even though a lot of times I know that I could do something or set up a takedown, but it's just a mental thing where it's like, oh, I'm not good here, and I know that I'm better at no-gi, so I'm like brain shut down, which is stupid because it's more of a psychological thing than actual. And of course, I am better and no-gi, and I'm much worse with the gi because I haven't trained the grips and everything the way that it should be trained. But anyways, it's more of a block, a mental thing than anything else. So
I
but the
haven't
math
practiced in a while.
Sorry?
Sorry, your sound went off.
Oh, yeah. Do you hear me now?
I hear. Yeah. I was
Yeah, I
just
didn't.
saying, like, yeah, I played a while in the game myself. Like,
Yeah, I prefer Nogi.
what's going on here?
Internet connection, maybe?
Sorry?
Do you hear me now? Is it better?
Yeah, it's the device.
Yo.
Yo, I
Okay.
hear you.
Okay. Sorry, I've got my external mic plugged in here, so that's why. Just went. Yeah. I haven't trained in the gi for a while because the situation that I'm in, right? So I've taken over the jiu-jitsu club because my coach left. So I've taken over. And you know, I work in a small town, so it's students that come to university. So I'm cycling through new students myself every 4 years because when people are done studying, they leave again, right? So um, the problem is that the students, gis are expensive, and there's so much jujitsu, and I've got so little time with them. Where do I go? Like, I can't practice gi and no gi with them because
Right.
it's kind of the two different games at this point. Like,
Yeah.
you'll see,
Well,
like, you'll see 5 years plus ago, like, a lot of things carried over from the gi game because there was a lot of gi guys transitioning to no gi jiu-jitsu. Now, if you look at what's happening since 2022's ADCC, right?
Right.
The gi influence is gone,
Pretty much, right.
right? Like,
It's
you
becoming.
engage the guard in order to pass the guard. No, that doesn't happen anymore.
Yep.
So
It is.
so
It is its own thing, really, right now. So I definitely in the no gi camp. But you just reminded me when it comes to the gi, and especially teaching students, like that sport is expensive. Like I just remembered, you think your sport is expensive? Try jujitsu, gi, speedo, lipstick.
yeah.
That's your
I just shared that one the other day. It was so good.
Oh
Oh
my
man.
god, I hear that everywhere. That's hilarious.
And then I tell the guys, like, if you want to do gi, that's fine. But you'll know that the gi is for you once you've experienced the bow and arrow choke.
Right.
You're either gonna hate it or you're gonna love it. But generally, it's gonna be me putting you in the bow and arrow choke, and you're gonna hate it.
That is true. That
And
absolutely
then I
is
and then I
true.
then I have my seniors look at the white belts like, nah, you're gonna hate it.
Welcome to pain.
Like, I playfully go for neck cranks. I know that doesn't sound like a thing, but like, I just kind of go for it. I don't lock it in. I just
Honestly, we do that all the time. So I'm not policing that. We do cranky shit all the time.
but it's like I'll put somebody in a cobra twist if they're just being like, a bit like
You
they
know,
need to learn a lesson. And then when it comes to a gi, like, one of the complaints I've had the most is the bow and arrow choke. Never mind all the other shit I've done. Bow and arrow choke is always the one that gets.
You know what's funny when it comes to the neck cranks? Like, I like cranking like stuff like that because I've watched a lot of and inspired by Eric Paulson a lot. So I would drill and
Yeah.
train and test out neck cranks, especially with like people who are more MMA minded. Like they wouldn't care as long as you're doing it like carefully, because you can practice and train these techniques carefully. It's not like that you can't. It's just going to be a different level of intensity and a different level of understanding what is happening there. So of course you're not going to just crank like an asshole. But it's also funny because recently I started doing Darce chokes and anacondas, and I've been catching them a lot because Alan was like all up in oil checking me because I wasn't doing those techniques for years now. It was like all up in my ass for me missing so many opportunities. Like I swear, he probably couldn't watch my grappling sessions on how many times he would notice me getting in north-south and just dipping, just leaving. So I started doing those. But 3 of them that I finished recently in rolling sessions turned out to be more cranks than anything. So like I'm not even right, tap's a tap. So like I did both the Darce going in like with the neck and with the arm, like the anaconda, and I would like roll and spin, and all 3 times they said, well, it was really more of a crank. Well, fuck me. Like it worked. It worked. It was controlled. There we go. It's a controlled thing. So.
I think I've only hit like a Darce a couple of times, but it's not my submission of choice. I don't have long arms for it.
Thank you, dude. So I can do those.
Yeah, it's a long arm dude sort of thing. So
for skinny Shaggy from Scooby-Doo type guys.
For guys like me, arm triangles are the way to go.
Yeah, Orsat's like a tanky guy. He's a bit shorter than me, but he's bigger and like shorter in that sense. And his arm triangles are fucked. Like I hate those. Like that's I no matter how many times I try and how much I drill, I just don't feel like I have nearly the same control and bite on arm triangles and stuff like that. I feel like he just carefully wraps around my neck and just presses once, and I'm like, tap, fuck that.
Yeah. Dude, like everybody is different, you know. There's just some submissions some people nail better than others, you know. So it's just like I've got short limbs, right? So like triangle chokes and darces aren't a thing for me, right? But I found myself very successful with reverse triangles for some reason whenever I get into the position.
That's cool. That needs
It's weird.
To be studied.
Sorry?
That needs to be studied.
Yeah, it's just like with my short, stubby legs. Like, why? Oh, it's because I can actually get good control in that position and just armbar people. It's not actually.
That's fair point.
So yeah, man.
Like knockdowns and guillotines are probably pretty good because for like guillotines you don't need like that lanky arms like you need in like anacondas and darce because it's just under your armpit. So like Orsat's got like a good bite, so I'm guessing that's probably more suited for you than me, probably.
Guillotines are so iffy. Like I know a good one arm guillotine variation. That works well for me because I've got short arms.
Right.
So, but like even then, the whole setup is to get to the back anyway. So there's like one possible escape for said person, and then it's like, oh no, it's back take from here.
More purpose. You know what's a lanky boy thing that I love to do, and it pisses the shit out of people. So because I'm quite thin and lanky, but when I got their back and I'm either going for a fulcrum or I'm trying to catch that rear naked, and they strip one arm, what I often do is just scoop this arm under their head and go here and do the telephone thing just right here, and their head is over here because I've got lanky arms, so it just look up. finish the rear naked, and everybody hates that shit because it's essentially a one-armed rear naked choke. So it's not, I'm not here, I'm just scooping and doing this, and I just look up, and I usually get the tap. So that's a benefit of.
Nice.
I don't got much like strength as if I were the like more Wolverine like, but like
Yeah.
sneaky shit like that works for me. So it's all,
Yeah, yeah, man. You just got to use what you got. Like, I'm actually very blessed to have like some grip strength. So like, if guys grip fight, I don't even bother with the grip fight sometimes. Just like a little bit, and then I just like walk the fingers, and then I grab my hand, and then I just baseball choke,
it's like
like pressing it like that, like
like literally
yeah, just like that. They grip fight, so then I just walk a little bit so that my other hand can grab, and then I just pull.
That's it. That's it.
But yeah, it's just being rude. It's just like, nah, screw this. Or if I can, like as I transition, I just grab the shoulder and I garrote.
Right.
Crush the windpipe.
Here's
Sorry?
that I also do. We're echoing a bit. Is the echo better?
Yeah, the echo's better.
All right. I heard myself echoing for a moment, so I didn't want to speak too much so that the reverb doesn't fuck you up. But I was gonna say one of the also kind of nasty things that I like to do is when I got like in English, what's this called? Is it not collar tie, or like when you're controlling the back of the head? What's
collar tie.
Yeah.
Right, wait.
Yeah, and when I'm trying to snap down the person, I scoop this arm here and go against their chin at the same time. So I'm doing like a mini crank when I snap the guillotine down, so I can go for like an anaconda or something. And it's such a sneaky. I've had that done to me, and that's when I started doing it from like a jiu-jitsu BJJ guy a long time ago. And then I watched Eric Paulson, and that's such a sneaky, like in movies when they like twist the head in two different directions, and of course that doesn't work. But if you're having a collar tie and maybe you push the hip to break the posture, and then you just crank that jaw and chin in a bit of a fucked up position, and then you catch something, that's such a nasty thing to do. But you lose friends, but you get style points. So
You're an asshole. You're a bigger asshole than me.
But I only do that when we are like, are we gonna do cranky stuff? Yeah, then we do it. But that's never like a go-to thing. But like with Armando, who's much better than me and taps me whenever he wants to. But with him, should we do like more neck cranks and stuff? Sure. Then I'll absolutely go for that shit. And it's so nasty. But I love it. Oh.
Yeah.
We got how do y'all feel about the low? I don't know what to tell you, man.
I can't kick for shit, so
I'm definitely not going to compete in that. I mean, it's kind of cool from a novelty standpoint, but it's like the same shit as power slap to me. It's like, for me, I don't have any interest in watching two guys just stand there. It's a bit like arm wrestling versus wrestling, and like slapping versus boxing, and now low kick versus kickboxing. Like, too much unnecessary damage and not real fighting. So I'm not a fan of it personally. So.
no, man, that's stupidity. You're just allowing yourself to get hurt. You don't even have the option to defend yourself.
Yeah. That's not my. That's not how I roll. I roll with wrist locks and neck cranks.
Next thing, he's gonna start heel hooking people too.
White belts, especially, right like at the start of the rolling session.
Like I had a kids class the other day, and it's like the kid just didn't know what trouble he was in because I was like going for a heel hook. It's like I could ruin your adolescent life right now.
Ooh. And it sounds such like a villain thought, but it is true. Did you see that like street fight? But it was at a basketball gym or something where a jiu-jitsu guy was pushed. He fell down, I think, and then he immediately rolled into a heel hook, but he didn't finish it and was like threatening, like, try and do something, try and punch me again. I'm gonna break your knee and ruin you're never gonna be able to play basketball again. And the other guy doesn't know in what danger he is. But the guy is not being an ass, so he doesn't want to break his leg. But the other guy has no clue in how much trouble he could have been. And I think then they broke up the fight. But that's dangerous shit. Like, he could have ended that man's career in like basketball or whatever it was with a heel hook. Thankfully, though, he was like, I could do this. I'm not, but I could ruin you. It's nasty.
Break knee, assert dominance.
Bonk.
No time to be kind. Like everybody's gonna know. Like, oh shit, he's gonna break my knees. I want to play basketball.
A little sort of. Yeah. He could have ended up in prison too. But regarding the low kick, yeah, I just I don't know. Not my thing. Definitely not my thing. I feel people are just breaking their bodies for no reason. Especially the power slap and all that stupid shit. I don't.
Oh yeah, like I don't even get the iron body training most of the time, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Like I don't like. That's how you get hernias. That's how you get organ damage. That's how you break ribs. And, you know,
Right.
like just going like full out with it the whole time. It just doesn't make sense. Maybe
Right.
small impact, small shocks, so you can like just get your breathing in tune and like tightening the muscles and engaging. Sure,
I
but
think
other than that,
like a lot of conditioning stuff, I feel like a lot of it is also pseudoscience. Like a lot of it is not actually like healthy or good for you. So
no, it's not. Like you see boxers do it the whole time, where they have a medicine ball and they like smack into the stomach, right? It's just
yeah,
breathing and tightening the core and engaging with it to protect the organs to teach you to do that, because
yeah,
shit goes south. But even then, it's not something that's focused on the whole time. It's only every now and then, you know? It's just every now and then. Like, there's a better option, and that's actually defend the punches properly.
yes.
So,
That's why I don't do the power slap and all that stuff. It's not indicative of actual martial skill. But again, somebody might just enjoy it for whatever. And to be fair, like, I see that you weren't into power slap. And to be fair, I'd rather watch low kick competition than a power slap competition. I feel like, but both suck in my opinion. But that's, again, that's us. But yeah,
yeah, like,
not
man,
even.
like, if you just want to watch people get like screwed up, like there's so many other things you can watch, like street beefs.
Let's go.
It's actually at least funny, you know.
Especially Death Sentence, the best fighter of all time.
Yeah, dude. Like there was that one fight that I just like showed all my friends the whole time, and it's just like these two fat guys like going at it. It's just like
Perfect.
hit like square in the face. It's just like, yeah.
That's crazy. All right. Oh, we're nearing 2-hour mark. I think we should call it quits for today's Ask conference. And we should.
Hours already.
Yeah, it's been 2 hours like this.
Yeah.
Street Beef.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go watch some Street Beefs now.
Watch,
Fuck
do
Power
a
Slap.
marathon.
But all right, my dude. Like,
This was awesome.
yeah, no, thanks again for having me. It sucks that Alan couldn't join us.
Yeah. But we're definitely going to run it back. We're going to do loads more of these. And hopefully I'll finish up those jiu-jitsu competition breakdown videos and stuff. So, yeah, well, I'm hoping that the channel will revitalize soon-ish. But in any case, we'll probably do another round conference.
Yeah, we'll do so. We've checked King of the Streets as well. That's also cool.
Yeah.
I got my girlfriend watching it, and she's like mad crazy about that stuff.
That's actual insanity right there.
I just prefer comedy than, something that's got a drone sound and sounds like a horror movie.
Fair point. Fair point. Yeah, Pacific Rolling, thanks for stopping by and for staying till the end. And I'll definitely be checking your channel out and all that stuff. And be on the lookout for more. And we're definitely going to do more streams and more videos and more Hangout. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So, Nick.
Cheers, guys.
Ciao, everybody. Thanks for watching. See ya all soon.